And for those of you that get here first, make sure that you share this stream so we can have the rest actually join us. Awesome to know that you are here with me. You share this space, and we're going to share a lot more things tonight. Definitely just share the stream. Make sure that you keep telling other people we are here from the mentorship, and let them join us so we can be able to learn together. Okay, you have the feed right now. So on this journey, we're going to be talking about so many things, and I'm just happy that we can find our purpose. And even if you're in a place where you have not yet found your purpose, you can be able to have someone hold your hand and be able to actually move with you step by step. And Sozi, good to have you. Mr. Sozi Gideon, good to have you. And holding your hand step by step and showing you the open doors and open opportunities, and then being able to impact the world together. That's the best thing that we can do for ourselves. So I am not here just to we're not here to pass time. No, we're not here to just network. No, we're not here to just to have a feel good moment. No, we are here to actually do or practice what we were created for. Okay, and I usually say together with my husband that give someone purpose and you will see their whole life changing. And the reason as to why this mentorship actually began, both for those of you that are online right now and for those of you that will join later, we went through a phase of training so many people, motivating and inspiring and so many things. Like any kind of beginner will do, we have done it all over the years, okay? So this one particular time, as we're talking about relationships, we're talking about stress, we're talking about home management, we're talking about how to progress in life and how to live a successful life. So we learned on this particular gentleman. He was in his 50s. I know most of you have heard this story. For those of you that actually came for the facilitators meeting, awesome. I'm glad I was able to meet you. Maurice, and then Angie. Angie, you said you'll not be able to be in class tonight, but again, you'll be able to watch this later on. And so, when this gentleman actually mentioned about not knowing how to live the real life, because he has been working in government for all his years, and he is clocking 60, and he's supposed to retire, but he just doesn't know how to live in the real world because he's used to having full tank fuel. He's car fueled. He's used to having his his house paid for. All his bills are paid for, and he just he's never thought about saving. He only has a plot of land that he has never built a house at 60 years of age. So when this guy said, I just don't know, I need help with this transition. And so I looked at him, and at 60, I told him, at 50 something clocking 60, I told him it's actually very possible that you can change your life. It's very possible that you can find your purpose at this age, and you will, by the time you get out of this world, you'll be a satisfied soul and you will have touched lives. You will be significant. Because if you live for yourself, then that is not success. It is not success if you live just for yourself. Let me grab more money, let me grow. That we can call it temporary success. Like you see someone has built a big house and you're like, that man is successful. You see someone driving a good machine, you're like, yeah, that lady, is driving a cool car and she's successful. You see, success is at a shallow end. When we talk about being significant, is when you touch the real lives, is when you are able to fulfill the reason as to why you are here on earth. Be it dealing with widows, dealing with children, doing charity, being a coach, being a counselor, being a mentor, authoring books, being a speaker. There's so many things. The list is endless from which you can actually not just choose, find yourself, okay? Because this is not a matter of choice. No, it's not that you're going to come here and say, you know what? This is what I choose. No, 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 no. Angie, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. I thought you would not make it. And so this is not a matter of choice. I usually tell people that my career, actually, what I do chose me. Okay, and it chose me at a time where I was at a crossroad. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just didn't know. I opened myself and availed myself. That is why this mentorship is so crucial. Why? Because for so many people that have come to this mentorship space, which we've had more than 200 people go through this mentorship, more than 200 who are practicing, but more than 300, inclusive of those that are not yet practicing, that are just coming up. Alan, good to have you. And I hope, number one, the volume is very clear, and number two, the picture is clear. Please let me know, because I don't want to be here when you are getting a blurry picture and then you're getting a shaky voice. Please give me a thumbs up, or just write in the chat box and let me know. Am I clear? Is the voice clear, so that we can go on? I need you to be able to ask questions. I'm still at work, but I can still follow. How are you doing, Coach? I am very fine. I am very fine. I couldn't be better. Okay, you're saying the volume is a bit low. Okay, let me see if I can do something about the volume. The volume being low. Okay, Joseph, good to have you. Okay, I'm trying to do something about the volume. Please let me know if, okay, good to have you, Kosin Jerema. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. Okay, so if you get here, Alan, good to have you. Good evening, members. Good evening, fellow gladiators. Okay, and I'm sure soon we'll be joined by other people, that is freedom seekers and world changers and transformers. I didn't just share this link. I wanted us to have this moment on our own, to be able to understand each other, to know each other, to ask enough questions. Okay, if you get back here, please let me know. We just had a very brief disruption, but let's just go right ahead. So first come, first serve. If you get here and you have a question, please put it down. You can put down as many as 10, as 20 questions, because then we are on this journey together, and you should never be afraid to ask, okay? You should never be afraid to ask. Make sure that you ask as many questions. There is no bad question. There is no silly question. There is no foolish question. There is nothing like a small question. Questions are questions. And guess what? If you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. And when you get the right answers, then you're able to do the right thing. I hope that the disruption has not taken you has not taken you back. You can be able to log on and let me know. And then spread this link. Send it to your fellow cohort members, so we can be able to move together. Okay, so as we wait for the questions, I'm talking about acceleration tonight, talking about acceleration. And when we talk about accelerated mentorship program, this is a program that fast forwards you. Okay, this is not a conventional program. A conventional program, you'll find those in the universities, because I went through universities, did my first bachelor's in IT, did my second in guidance and counseling, because I was still searching and I still wanted to find my purpose. And then definitely I upgraded and did my master's in human relationships, and then I did my doctorate, that is in applied psychology, positive applied psychology and human relationships. And I've never regretted. I have never regretted. But again, you see, that was too much time for me on that journey. But again, I'm glad I took that journey, because it was a self-discovery journey. But this is what I will tell you, that what I discovered on that outside of class, outside of campus, outside of university, outside of my masters and outside of my doctorate was a lot more. That was in the field, working, putting things into practice. I used to tell people, I'm going to start a private practice. And then every one someone was telling me, what is a private practice? We don't know. We've never seen anyone do a private practice. The time I started, there was no counselor, there was no coach, there was no, these things have just come up. In Uganda, there was no one that I could look up to and say, okay, I'm looking up to that person. If they could do this, then I can also do this. There was nothing like that. So this is, I mean, I came into a jungle, into a bush. But again, as I went on for the past 15 years, I have learned so many things. I have made so many mistakes, and I've made so much or so many good choices that have led me to where I am, and I don't regret both the mistakes and I don't regret even the good things that have happened, because this is what has happened. I have amassed so many lessons, and now I am passing on that knowledge, because alone I cannot impact the whole world. I cannot impact the whole Uganda. No, but I need someone that is as passionate as I am to make sure that they vibrate at the same frequency. They take on this message, they own it, and then they are able to influence and change the world. And I know that it's very possible, okay? So the reason as to why I'm doing the acceleration mentorship program is I'm narrowing your portal, I'm narrowing your time frame, and telling you that this is something that you can do within 10 weeks. And our time is actually going to stretch a bit, because I love to see you practice. I love to see you start. I love to see you embrace and learn and unlearn and relearn and keep running, okay? So that means that your time with me is not limited to the 10 weeks that we are going to have the content. No. Your time with me, the moment you cross paths with me, then you are with me for life, if you choose to be, because then you have full access and we can talk. You can join so many other programs, and then you can be able to be introduced into the world. So I want to hold your hand, okay? I just don't want to give you content. Otherwise, I should have put you on the platform and told you, watch the videos, watch the lectures, take the notes, and then find yourself. No. The reason as to why we have this live session every once a week is to make sure that we go back and talk about the things that we have had to go through, or the videos that we have watched, the questions that are formulated on our way, so we are able to actually do the needful, apply and make it work, okay? So for those of you that have questions, I would love to hear those questions, and so that we can go ahead. And if you're still here, please just give me a wave of your hand, or just write something in the chat box so that I can see that you're here, and then send me your questions. Let us learn together, because the question that you ask is just not going to help you alone. It's going to help so many people that are on this platform, and so many people that are going to watch after this. So every Friday we are here, that is 8 to every Thursday. I said I just put this as an emergency and said we can have another class tomorrow, but today I really wanted to come on here and make sure that we touch base and make sure that we actually get to talk and chat. So I'm not doing this alone, okay? I'm waiting for you to say something. So if you are here, say something, write something down in the chat box, and let's chat, okay? So acceleration is really creating a portal, a narrowed down portal, okay? Just to tell you, you don't have to go 5 years to find yourself. You don't have to go a full year to find yourself. No, that's too much time. That is too long. And we've been given formulas, so many formulas that have bombarded our heads and have not done any good. So I wanted to narrow down those and throw away the boxes and the formulas, and to tell you that you are a unique human being, and you have a calling that is in tune to your life and unique to your life, okay? It's not for everyone. And your calling was not a conference call. It was for you alone, okay? And you know what you desire to do in your heart. So that's what makes me happy, that you know what to do in your heart. Rema, good to know that you're still here. For those of you that have Rema, I need you to ask questions. Susie, Gideon, I need you to ask Angela if you can quickly type a question. Alan, if you can quickly type a question so we can be able to answer those and go right ahead. And then, okay, if you have a question, I am waiting for those questions because that's the only way we accelerate ourselves. That's the only way we get to know the things that we don't know. And then if you've watched the videos or you've started on the videos and you have a bit of questions about the videos, please let me know so that we can be able to also rectify that and throw more light on that. Okay, so I'm waiting for the questions. I'm not going to say anything else until we have the questions, because if I keep talking and speaking, I know that some of you will sit back and listen. Okay, and yet I want to answer your questions. So question time, please make sure that you send you put it down in the chat so we are able to throw more light. Okay, I'm waiting for those questions. I don't want to keep speaking. If I keep speaking, you people are going to lay back and listen. And I don't want that. I want this to be a chat, and I want this to be interactive, okay? So put down your questions, write down, and then we can be able to go through them. Great. In case we don't have questions, what I'm going to do, I'm going to, okay, let's see. This is, okay, Angela, you're saying, what do I do if my client seems not to understand or adjust to the present situation? I mean, even when you feel you have given them the time and all the information. Okay, what do I do if my client seems not to understand or adjust to the present situation? I mean, even if you give or you feel like you've given them all the time and all the information. Now, this is what happens with clients, because clients have, and I don't think I've talked about this enough, but clients have different categories that they come through, okay? And those categories, there will be a client that will come and is just seeking for general perspective and general knowledge, okay? They are not at the edge. They are coming to pick your mind. They want to talk to someone intelligent. They want to understand their situation, but it's not that they want to make a decision, okay? And then there will be those that will come in the middle, like they are not so sure whether they have to make the decision, but again, they feel the situation is not as good. They need something to change. Now, those, like, they really look confused, okay? We have those that they just want clarity. Those that are confused, and then we have those that are at the edge. They have come for one thing because they know now I am head on with my issue and I must make a decision right now whether I want it or not, and something must change. So they are at the edge, and all they need is just a facilitation and a help to push them over the cliff so that they can fly or they can be able to make a decision. Now, those are the three categories of the clients. Now, the moment someone comes for clarity, okay, I just want to know, I want to know about this. I want to know how to start a business. I want to know how to have a good marriage. That is generic. That is just finding clarity. Now, that person definitely, any client that will come to you has a mind, has a brain, and they have past information or biased information out there about their situation, okay? So when they get in, this is what happens. They start comparing what they know to what you're actually telling them. They start looking at how authoritative you are. They start looking at how informative you are. They start looking at how knowledgeable you are. But remember, their need is not as pressing, so they are not confused and they are not at the edge. So they just want clarity. Now, such a person will definitely go, and you will never know whether you impacted their lives or not. Number two, the confused one. Now, the confused one is the kind that will come and will be like, oh, okay, that is what it means. Why? Because they feel they need more from you, but again, they are confused. So they will never be able to make a decision, even when you give them all the tools. Even when you give them 3 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, they will never be able to make a decision. Why? Because they're still in a state of confusion. So what you do, your job as a coach, your job as a mentor, your job as a counselor is not to spoon feed these people. No, your job is to facilitate the process. So how you facilitate the process is you ask the questions, okay? How did you get here? When did it start? How did you feel? How do you feel right now? What do you think needs to change in order for your situation to be rectified or to change? You are asking questions and this person is actually answering them. You're giving them a moment to think and answer so that they are formulating their own options and they can be able to put them into practice. So it's easy for them to implement if they come up with the options, but it's harder for them to implement if you give them advice. So you do not advise. We advise friends, okay? You advise a sister because why? Maybe you know a bit more of their situation and you can't go into probing, you can't go into the professional bit of it. And so you're like, if I were you, I don't think I would do that. If I were you, I don't think I will, I will go ahead and accept that. Now, that is advice, okay? In this arena, we do not advise. We facilitate, okay, the growth of this person to formulate their own responses and their own answers. And I know that it's hard. I've dealt with so many clients who just think that if I appear in front of a coach or a counselor or a mentor, I'm just going to get answers. So you're like, okay, what do you do for such a man? Then you give them an answer. What do you do for such children? Then you give them answers. What do you do if your business fails? Then you give them answers. Then they are not growing. But if you ask them, when did you start this business? How long have you been doing it? What's the best thing you've ever gotten out of this business? What has been the best season of your business? And they tell you what happened in that best season of your business. Maybe business was booming, it was December, and there were so many people. And then, or maybe it was in a place that was really busy. And then, so what changed? I shifted to a place that is not so busy. Now you are finding, this person is actually connecting the dots and finding out that, okay, ever since I shifted, my business was actually went down, okay? Or ever since I stopped networking with people and being an outgoing person, or I got my own problems and then I carved into myself, then my business actually took a hit and it is now down, okay? So you do not decide what the client does. What you do is you help them to formulate the solutions and the options, and then what you do is you create a call to action for them to actually do, and those are the assignments that they go and do. And then when you follow up, you're able to ask them, did you put this into practice? When you put it into practice, did you see any fruits? Is there any progress? And people will keep coming to you if you do that, okay? So even if you feel that you have given them everything that you need to give them, but when they are still in the confusion state, nothing is going to be done. Now, the people that are at the edge, they're very desperate. They want to make a decision so badly. Now, you have to be so careful about those because they're going to quote everything that you say. If you tell them leave that marriage, my friend, they're going to leave that marriage. If you tell them, because what they are looking for is to hear, and most times to hear something that their ears are itching to hear. So you be very careful with those. Still take them through the procedure of facilitating them to come up with their own, or to say if this woman does not change, okay? If this woman does not change at all, would you still be willing to be with her? And they're like, no, I think cheating is a deal breaker for me, and I don't think I can stay with her if she's still cheating, okay? And you leave the decision to them. You don't tell them, I also can't stay with a cheating person. I think I would just walk away. It's useless. Don't even stay with them. No, be very careful when you're dealing with the people at the edge because they are sick. Okay, and they want solutions, and their ears have been biased. They need to hear certain things. So what you do, you become professional. You don't take sides. You become neutral, facilitate them through the process, and help them come up with call to actions, and then give them assignments. Let them go and put into practice what you have discussed during the session, and then be able to follow up. So your duty, just like we say, your duty is to plant. Your duty is to help, facilitate, be there for them. Your duty is, however, not to know whether they did it or not, or whether they did exactly what you told them or not. So you don't break yourself. The moment you know that you relax, you're like, you know what? When someone comes to me, we will go through the procedure, we will talk about what we need to talk about, and then when they get back or when we follow up, then we can know whether they put into practice what we talked about and whether it really, really helped. So that's one way of looking at it, my dear. I wanted to go into the depth of that so that at least we can be able to know. Morris, good to have you. It's awesome having you on this chat. We are asking questions. If you have a question, whether it's a beginner's question, whether it's you want any clarity about something, that is why we are here. Okay, Erema is saying, I would like for you to make a list of the major questions you would ask if you wanted to help someone to make the best choice. What would lead them to be successful and happy and have a happy life? Thanks. I would like for you to make a list of major questions you would ask if you wanted to help someone to make the best choice. Now, Rehma, this is the deal. When we come into the mentorship and accelerated mentorship, we do not come to be spoon-fed, okay? So you will like me later, believe me. In the beginning, you might not like me. But again, when you talk about the questions, I have given you like a sample of those of the questions, okay? And they have to be open-ended. They don't have to be the yes and no answer kind of questions, because those are closed-ended. Then you're not getting information out of the client. But you want to get as much information so that you can listen as much as you can and ask the relevant questions, because the questions are unique to every situation, okay? If someone comes about marriage and you're a marriage coach or you're a marriage counselor, the questions are going to be in line with that person is talking about. Maybe they're coming about finances, maybe they're coming about their sex life, maybe they're coming about their financial life, maybe they're coming about child upbringing and parenting, maybe they're coming about so many other things, okay? And so what you do is, there are so many questions unique. For example, a leading question would be, okay, what did you do when you discovered that he actually did this? How did you feel? So you're getting, I really felt angry and I couldn't face him and I wanted to walk away, and did you say anything you regretted? Something like that. Because then you are at a particular, you're dealing with a particular issue and you want to be able to drive your point home, okay? So you see, that is different. So for every scenario, you could be a business person, financial coach, and people are coming to you about starting up businesses and how to actually to sustain businesses. That is a whole different ball game. And so that means your questions are going to be totally different, okay? So when you started this business, did you do a survey? What kind of survey? Because most of the open-ended questions are actually what? Because if I ask, did you do a survey? You can tell me yes. But I'll be like, what kind of survey did you carry out before starting this business? Okay? And then someone will tell you, oh, I asked friends, oh, I went here and here, oh, I got this information, oh, I had this from here, oh, I researched on internet. So now you're gathering what exactly do they know about this business. Okay? So that means they are really more about how, when, what, okay? So that you can be able to actually hear what they are trying to tell you. And when you collect what they are trying to tell you, most of the questions are going to come within the information they are going to give you. So that is why we say you listen more than you speak. And this I will repeat. If you have people, if you have clients, if you're dealing with clients, you have to listen more than you speak. You don't have to speak. You don't have to prove that you are the guru, you are the expert, you are the man, you know it all. No, you do not have to prove that. All you have to do is listen, because, and I will say this, the client knows what they want, okay? The client knows what they want. So it's not you to come and they have all the answers. The clients have all the answers. That is why I'm saying we are facilitators. We are not teachers. We are not trainers. We are facilitators. So you facilitate someone to come from where they are to a different place. And I think for some of you that have started to watch the videos or that watched all the videos, you now know the difference between a counselor, a mentor, a consultant, and a coach. You know the difference, okay? So your main job is to take that person from point A to point B, where they are right now, where they feel stuck, to a different place or to a place where they want to be. So you walk the journey with them. Definitely we'll talk about how to sell your programs and how to package your courses or your sessions and all that. We'll be talking about more of that as we go ahead. But right now, when it comes to a client, listen more than you speak. Okay, because when you listen, then you will get to know what kind of questions to ask. For example, someone has come and maybe they picked something that was not theirs, and you're like, okay, in that moment, what were you thinking before you took that before you took that watch, before you took that phone? Like, what crossed your mind? What were you thinking? And maybe this person will tell you, at that moment I looked at, my sorry state, and I didn't have money, and I felt I needed quick money, and so, and when you ask them whether they regret, you don't ask that, do you regret doing it? No. How did you feel after it was discovered or found out that you are the one that had taken this? And maybe they will tell you their journey of feeling ashamed and regretting and being remorseful and asking for forgiveness, and how that has actually impacted their lives and changing their lives. So in a nutshell, Rehma, you see that there are different questions there, and I will make sure that I note down those questions. I know that the notes are on there on the platform, Rehma. On the platform, make sure that you read all the notes, all the posts. Make sure that you watch all the live videos, and make sure that you watch all the lecture videos, because then all this is covered in this mentorship, just to make sure that you have an example of those questions, so that you can apply them in different arenas of coaching, of consulting, of mentoring, of being a counselor. And I know that so many of us, even when you don't decide to take that and you just want to be a speaker and an author, you know that you will meet people that will need to be helped in one way or another. So it's better to actually be equipped with this information, to know that you're supposed to be a listener and not a speaker when you are dealing with private clients. Okay, and even when you're dealing with speaking engagements, it's not about what you feel and what you love. No, it's about what the audience loves. It's about them, what they experience and how they experience it. Okay, so you take yourself out of the picture, take yourself out of the game. Just make sure that you concentrate. What do my people need, and give it to them in the best way possible. Okay, so let the clients have an experience with you. Let them not just have a moment, okay, of being with you and then they're gone and everything is done and then they just don't know what next. No, let them experience the transformation when they are with you. More questions I can see. Okay. Coach, in the previous video, you talked about moving on after a relationship, but how can I best help a client who is still attached to that person? Okay, moving on from a relationship. When the person is attached, I usually say that in every relationship, there is one that is left and one that goes. Okay, so you have to be very, very, very careful. The person that has come to you, and most people that come for coaching or counseling, most of those are the ones that have remained behind. Now, the healing process takes time. And it's not that it takes 20 days or 30 days. For some, it's years. So if it goes into a year, into 2 years, into 3 years, by the way, someone can even try to date, someone can even try to do so many things, but when they're carrying on their wounds and they're not properly healed or they're still attached, to that person. So the best thing to do is to give them the time. You don't give them ultimatums. You should have left gone by this time. No. You should have left him. You should have left her. You should know what good, okay? After you have taken them, because so many people, when they come, so many people that have come to me with the same scenario, those will be millions of people that I have met in my life when we're talking about heartbreaks and how to move on. What you equip them with is the confidence and the self-love, and to be able to look at the red flags and what exactly happened in this relationship. And this is what has happened. Most of them have discovered that actually most relationships were actually one-sided. They were not loved, but they held on because they expected things would change. And so things did not change. They turned out bitter, and now they're still holding on for dear life. So you realize that there's a lot to be done in this person. When a person, and then there are people who will come to you when they're not ready. They're just not ready, okay? And then there are people who will come to you when the attachment that is between them and their exes is sexual, okay? They have never let go. The moment she tries to move on, again, they fall back, they have sex, but again, they can never be in a relationship. And then there's a whole entanglement. It's a whole web that they need to disentangle from. But again, they just don't know how to disentangle from. So until they know that they're wasting their time, until they learn the hard way, some people, you might never be able to convince them that what you are doing is actually very damaging to your health and to your future and to your life. So what you do is you do your job as a coach. You talk to them, you facilitate them, you ask them the right questions, and they get to know that, okay, I wasted 7 years of my life in this relationship, or I wasted 7 years of my life in this situationship or a friendship that would not yield to anything. And then you ask them, is that what you want to do? You still want to be in it, okay? And sometimes you have to read in between the lines. As a coach, you have to read in between the lines. There are so many things that clients are not going to tell you, but when they are actually experiencing them. So you will see one who is protective. You will see one who still has lunch and supper with the person that they broke up with, but that person actually moved on, and then they are not yet moved on. So every time they're still praying and hoping. Even the questions they will be asking you, but isn't it possible for an ex to come back? And maybe it's like 5 years or 3 years after the ex, and you're like, but my friend, even when there's a possibility, a chance, or a 20% or 50 or 10% that this person can come back, let them not find you in the same place that they left you, okay? So you were crying, you held on, you were throwing tantrums, and you want them so much, you're praying for them, you're fasting for them, and meanwhile your life is not moving even an inch. For most of the exes that have come back into their exes' lives, actually it's because the exes were moving at a very terrific speed, and they were like, it seems I missed something. So do you see how you relate to normal life and just give them a wholesome kind of experience so that they make a decision themselves? You do not make a decision for anyone. When they are ready, let me tell you, this is what I usually do too. Like when after you've gone through, the beginning, and then you're there, talking to clients so well. And I'm not saying don't talk to clients so well. You learn the game. So this is what happens when someone comes to my office and they have booked their session, and my sessions do not come cheap because I no longer have time to actually sit and have sessions. By the time I give you a session, like I have thought twice, and I have looked at my schedule, and I feel like I can fix some time, because again, I want to help. It's about the people, it's not about me. So it pains me because I don't have enough time. So this is what happens. I tell them, go back, you are not ready. The moment you feel you are ready, come back, I will meet you again. And this person is like, but again, I am ready. And I'm like, no, you are not ready, because I don't want to waste my time to actually Mr. Sabit is here giving me a fashion show. I don't want to waste my time to speak to this person, and yet they're still blinded by love and emotions. I'm like, no, I need the raw you to be able to speak and have this conversation so that I can help you to actually make a better decision. So do you see, we're still taking questions, and if you get here, please just note down your question. Actually, I have Okay, I have 3 minutes to go. Just 3 minutes to go. So if you have a question and you want your question to be the last one, please just hop on and send that question. But if you don't, I will be closing in 2 minutes time. Okay, I feel we've had a chat, and we will continue to have a chat tomorrow. I'm hoping we can be able to have a chat as well, and I want to know you, and I want to be able to move with you and hold your hand. Thank you so much for mentoring us, because I will upload you first and then myself, for I tried to help her make a decision as per the skills I learned from you, but she was confused. Exactly. When you see the person is still confused, please, you do not there's little you can do. Just do your job. Listen to them, facilitate them, ask the right questions, come up with the action plan or the call to action, and let them and their God decide what they want to do next. But otherwise, you cannot do this kind of work if you do not care for people. Okay, let's take this quick. Okay, coach, how well can I advise a client who is tied in a very harsh, hostile, and toxic marriage, and they are scared to leave just because they have a kid in that relationship? They are almost losing life. Now, Maurice, thank you. This is a very, very great question, because you're going to find so many of those people. And our culture has embedded a lot of fear in so many people. And so many people feel like they are disappointing so many people by living their own lives, or being authentic, or making decisions that that influence or give them happiness. So this is what happens. We have had, I mean, you can't leave your marriage. If you have children, then you should stay for your children. If you have this, there's been a lot of mambo jumbo and a lot of, indoctrination, especially in the girl child. Now, this is where you will find a woman being beaten, and she will still be married to that person that is beating her. You'll find as in those dubious things. Now, this person needs a dose of self-esteem and self-confidence. This is what happens. Sometimes a client will never know what they want, but when they come to you, you will discover that what they need is not the talk of genda, vamumaka, biveko. No. The talk that they actually need is to be able to show them that they are worth it, they deserve better, and they are good people, and they have done all the good in the world, but they are being paid in a currency that they do not deserve. Now, you are not telling them to go, but you are telling them, look twice, think twice. You deserve better. You deserve a lot more than what you are getting. Okay? So you stand up for yourself. And sometimes I usually tell people, especially if I talk to someone and it has been taken so long, they're not making a decision, and I don't want to push them to make a decision. I tell them, you have 3 options. Okay? You have 3 options. Stay in that marriage and pretend nothing is happening. Okay? Just guma, just put your back. When he says turn, I want to beat your back, let him beat your back. When he goes and has other women and then comes back to you, just say, oh, welcome back, my sweet husband. Just stay and just pretend nothing is happening, and just be quiet. Because then there is no reason as to why you came to me. Okay? Number 2, you can decide and say that, you know what, I want something different. Okay? I deserve better. I've gathered my self-esteem and my confidence. I can speak for myself. I don't want to get out of this marriage, but I want a better marriage. So I face my partner and tell them that from now on, these are going to be the new rules in this marriage. Okay? And if you cannot uphold this, then you are actually telling me, get out of this marriage. And sometimes people just need to be strong. So do you see that person needs a booster dose of confidence to know that, by the way, there are people who are living good lives. There are people who are in a better marriage. There are people who are in a marriage where they're listened to, they're cared for, they are, someone can die for them, because someone can give a life. And you do not have blue blood, you have red blood, okay? So if true love exists, why can't this person love you the right way? If they can't love you the right way, then let them let you go. So the moment you open their minds by the questions that you ask and relating to their situation, then you're able to facilitate them to a place where, have you ever heard of this question? For example, maybe the woman is very toxic, and then the man goes and finds someone to talk to, and then they come home with confidence. And then this woman is like, who did my husband talk to? Who did? Why? Because they always think they are influenced. Now, some people, when they talk to a coach or a counselor, they are influenced the right way, and they're able to actually go back and set boundaries, because what they need more than anything is to set boundaries. If you're still a womanizer, I mean, out there, I'm not going to die in this marriage, okay? No one sent me into a marriage to die or to burn. No. It's not going to be like that. So if you want good treatment, I deserve good treatment. If you want to be respected, I deserve to be respected. So this person stands up for themselves, and the other person is either going ahead to do exactly what they were doing, and this person decides and says, this is not the kind of treatment I want. Why? Because now they have the confidence to make a decision about their lives. So you see, they kept at a different angle. They didn't know what they wanted, but what they needed was the booster dose of confidence. Okay, and the third choice I usually give them is to actually get the hell out. I mean, why are you here when you're being beaten? The next time your eye is going to be plucked out, and a dead mother cannot mother her children. That's not going to happen. So it depends on the toxicity, number one, and then the level of toxicity, and then it depends on how indoctrinated the woman is in that marriage. Okay, so if she was indoctrinated and the culture has influenced her, and she's a people pleaser, believe me, even if you even if you pray and bounce off the heavens as a coach, they will never make a decision. That is why I told you, some people come for clarity, some people come confused, and some people come at the edge. Now, when someone comes at the edge, then they're able to go back. They're not even able to make a decision based on what you told them. You become now like a bouncing board, for their ideas, and then they're like sirimolalu actually. By the time you concur with what I'm telling you, that means I'm actually truthful to myself that this is not healthy. Okay, this is not healthy. This is not how a good marriage is supposed to be. So the person is able to make their own decision in their own marriage, not even saying that so and so, I talked to so and they told me get out of marriage. No. A person who says that is the confused one. But a person who is at the edge, they make a decision and they do not call a village to come. Come please, I am separating with my husband. No, they do not call a village. So your job, Maurice, is to be able to actually facilitate them, know what they need, and read their level of indoctrination. If you find that this lady actually is so much indoctrinated that nothing can change, wish them well and tell them that whenever they are ready to have this conversation, they can have it again with you. But until then, they need to be able to sober up, and they need to be able to live for themselves, and they need to be able to be careful what exactly happens. Because when we tolerate bad behavior, or when we tolerate toxic behaviors, those behaviors grow and we can't do anything about them. But once you say, no, this cannot happen again, and if it happens, this is the repercussion that is actually going to take place. And so when it happens, you don't say ateka kati na mugamba and then he's doing nothing about it. No, you apply the repercussion immediately, and you're like, you know what, I don't think this is where I deserve to be. I think I deserve better, and I can live a better life. Okay, so let's learn to get to the meat of issues, and let's learn to use the right words. Definitely we're going to learn those things as we go on. Use the right words, because when you see you and I can be, actually you can be overqualified than I am, okay, but maybe I am more experienced than you are, and we have 2 sessions with the same person, and you'll find that they are taking a different decision because I use certain kind of words, a certain level of authority, and a certain level of experience. They experienced something, an emotional or an emotional transformation, something like that. And then there's so many of us who speak so many words, and someone will go away empty-handed or just more confused. That happens. There are some coaches who confuse clients even the more. So, my dear, it's not the decision is not yours, the decision is theirs. They are scared to move because they have a child. So many of them do that, and they're almost losing their lives. You're the one who is actually seeing them. So that means that this person is actually so much indoctrinated, and they cannot make a decision. They need to get to the edge. That is where they can be able to make a decision. Right now, they're still in a confused state, so they need more time to be able to decide. The only problem that is really hurting is that some of them never get to the edge. Some of them actually lose either their lives or go mad or they get depressed, and they go on treatment, and things do not turn out well because the prolonged torture, emotional torture and toxicity actually makes people go mad, and they get depressed, and they hit the rock bottom, and they're never able to actually survive or have a life, a normal life that they really wanted. Okay, thank you very much. I'm really learning a lot. I'm gonna ask the open-ended questions as I follow up exactly. Like you always tell our clients have answers, but they only need help to make the sober decisions. And when you show them those options, I believe they will be able to choose. And let me tell you, sometimes your clients will never make the decisions there and then. Sometimes it will take some time for them to make the decisions. And sometimes these are the same clients who will come to you after 3 years and they're like, you changed my life. Okay, I stayed in my marriage, but I created boundaries, and my marriage changed for better, and now I'm a happy woman. They will come to you after 2 years, after 3 years. So what we do is let's keep sowing the seeds. Let's keep saying the right words. Let's keep listening, and let's keep facilitating the transformation in their lives. Okay, you don't need to explain too much. Oh, if you meet me, I will give you what no other coach can give you. You're explaining. Let them experience. When they come to you, let them refer others and say, go and meet Coach Morris, go and meet Coach Angela, go and meet Coach Allen. This person is going to transfer. Just 5 minutes with them, just 30 minutes with them. Okay, so that is why we need to dig deeper on this journey as we walk together. And I am so excited that we are able to hold hands and move together and create a force that is formidable, that is going to transform our country, that is going to transform Africa and transform the world. You are going to create a brand that you have never dreamt about, and that brand is going to grow in ways that you have never imagined. You're going to impact lives, and you're going to change lives, and guess what? Your life is going to change. Your financial status will change. The way you see things will change. The way you reason things will change. The way you dress will change. You do not come in contact with me or with this program and you remain the same unless you really want to, and unless you signed up for a wrong program. But by the time you came to this program, I think you are the right fit for this program. So let's grow together. I love you, I believe in you, and I know that together we can do so much. Okay, so from me to you tonight is a good night until we can meet again, and that is tomorrow. So let me know for those of you that will be available, so that we have a chat again tomorrow. I want to know you more. The more you ask questions, I get to know your niche, I get to know what you love, I get to know what your area of expertise is, what you long to do, and then I'm able to help you better. And positive, everything is going to change. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Angie, and thank you, Alan. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, Gideon, and everyone that has been on this live tonight. Let me wish you a good night.